This is another episode of Behind the Facemask with your host, lifetime Longhorn and Super Bowl champion Alex Okafor. And today we got Texas linebacker David Gbenda. Appreciate you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Okay, so David, we always start these things with kind of telling us like your upbringing, your background, kind of like what your family looked like, where you from, stuff like that. So where are you originally from?
I was born in Houston, Texas, and then my mom moved me out to Katy, Texas for better opportunities. I live with my mom and my dad, and I have two younger sisters, Matilda and Madison. But I was raised in Katy, Texas, and that's where I first learned the sport of football. And it was a very interesting and fun transition from Houston to Katy, but it was eye-opening just to be able to see the difference and also experience the new changes in life and just also to get used to the people out there and just learn about football.
Okay, so whenever your parents moved to Houston, you were born out in Houston, right?
Yeah, I was born in Houston. Yeah.
Okay, and then how long did it take before y'all moved to Katy?
I would say it took a couple months because when I was first born, I was like 4, and they realized the area that I was in, A-Leaf. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It was a little seedy, and they didn't want me to grow up in that type of area. So she wanted to move me to a place where I'd have a lot of opportunities and obviously pursue my education. As you well know, education is top priority in an African household. So when we got out to Cinco Ranch in Katy, Texas, it was a nice area, and the schooling was great. And I'm very thankful to my parents for moving out there.
Okay, so basically you grew up in Katy because you said you were just born and your family moved over to Houston. So you basically spent your whole life in Katy, right?
Yeah, a good majority of it, yeah.
Okay, cool. And how old are your sisters?
They're currently my sister Madison, the youngest one is 16 and the older one is 20.
Okay, so there's one just right under you and then the second one's just a few years after that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So kind of tell us like your nationality, like where are your parents from?
Oh, my parents are from Sierra Leone. Yeah.
Okay. Forgive my ignorance, but how would I pronounce that in terms of, are you Sierra Leonean or like, my dad's from Nigeria, so I'm Nigerian. What would you call yourself being from Sierra Leone?
I mean, my dad would probably just say I'm a real Salon Bobo. So that's how he would pronounce it.
Say that one more time.
He would just be like, I'm a real Salon Bobo. I really wouldn't claim that because I was born in America, but I just know that I'm Sierra Leonean. That's how I would say it.
Okay, cool. So kind of tell us your parents' history a little bit. Like, how old were they when they moved out here? Why did they move out here? Like, why did they make that decision to move from Sierra Leone to America? And are both of your parents from Sierra Leone?
Yeah. So my mom grew up in a village in a big family. And the way she describes it was very interesting, like how they ate and stuff. It would always be my grandma would always put food out, and her big brothers would always come and eat it all up, and whatever was there, whatever they had, that's all they had. But it was very humble beginnings for her. And my dad, he grew up in a big household as well, a big family, and his dad, my LB David Gbenda, who I'm named after, he was a government worker, so my dad had it pretty okay. But at the same time, education was very important to them as growing up, and that's how my mom and dad met. It's funny, they joke about it. My mom said she needed help with math, and my dad was good at it, so they started tutoring, and I was just like, okay, that's all I need to know. But yeah, they hit it off. They got to know each other and realized that they were both good people and they were just a natural match. So they got married over there. Then in '96, they came from Africa to America, and that transition obviously wasn't the easiest. And it was crazy because I didn't know for the longest. I never really asked, but I found out that the way they got their visas was through a visa lottery. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but yeah, my dad put his name down, and my mom and dad were married, so it was just a done deal. They came over, and they really left because obviously they knew that there was going to be war brewing over the blood diamonds. I don't know if you're familiar with that whole fiasco going on over there, but it was just political turmoil that drove my parents to come to America and search for new beginnings. And obviously America is the land of dreams and wonder. Everyone wants to come over here, start new, and chase the American dream of having a family, chasing occupational success, and just continuing to excel at whatever they did. So they came over here. Then after they came in 96, I was born in 2000, 4 years later, I came about. And that was the happiest days of their lives, that they would say. I mean, my mom and dad say they don't have favorites, but I'm the firstborn son, and my dad was very excited. So I already know I'm the favorite. I'm gonna claim it now. But yeah, they just came over there. It was hard though, because of course they did their schooling in Africa, but coming over here, they had to basically start from scratch, so to say. They had to go. My mom went to U of H. My dad started at HEC, went to U of H as well. He got his bachelor's in organic chemistry. My mom she studied nursing, and they've just been continuing to pursue education. Even to this day, my mom still takes classes to get her master's, and I was like, wow. You're over here working a 6 to 6, still taking classes. Yeah. You're a G. And my dad's always, he's still teaching organic chem, but he's always still trying to pursue his doctorate. But that's how they came about.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that academics were huge in your household, and even kind of speaking on your mom still doing school as she's getting up there in age. Kind of explain that dynamic. Like, were they even invested into your football career, or how long did it take for them to believe that football was even a viable option for you? Because I know they just wanted you to get that degree.
Well, it's a funny story. When I first started out with sports, my dad would always have me trying everything but football. Okay. I remember he would always have me watching basketball. He wanted me to be a hooper. He'd always have me out there on the tennis courts with him. He loved soccer back home, so he would have me doing soccer, tennis. I didn't try volleyball, to my surprise. He did do volleyball, but I never tried it. But he had me doing everything but football. They never really wanted me to play football. Even when I first introduced the idea to them in 7th grade, my mom was like, I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to have to deal with all that. But again, I pursued it. I kept doing it, and I was just self-driven with it. My dad would always tell me, like, even when you were younger, you would always just get up Saturday morning, you would just go work out on your own. You would go work out on your own. You would do everything. You'd say, let's go to this camp, that camp. So it was sort of a dream I always wanted to pursue. And then naturally saw my natural drive and want to by being self-sufficient with it, always finding different opportunities, going to this camp, Rice camp, U of H camp, just to keep pursuing that dream. And eventually I just kept playing and kept getting better. And everyone around my dad would always tell me I was like a natural linebacker. It was weird. Even when I went to basketball, they're like, you should sign your son, the basketball coach was like, you should sign your son up for basketball. I'm for linebacker. And I was like, he just looks like a natural linebacker. And I was like, he never told me this. He'd always have that idea in the back of his mind, but he already was set in his ways. But in high school, I kept going, kept pursuing it, kept trying to excel at my craft. And naturally, when you keep excelling and you keep praying to God, the dream came. And I remember I got my first official collegiate offer. I called my mom, it was U of H. And I was so excited, but obviously she was exhausted. She was tired from work. And after that, she heard about it and she knew, she's like, oh yeah, congratulations, good job. But she was, of course, a little exhausted. Then I think when I took my dad to my first real visit was with A&M, that's when he came home and he was like, okay, look, son, you could really go really far with this. He was excited all about the Aggie Network.
So hold on, so that's what it took for him to really believe that there was a future for you in football. Like, he had to go see it in person. And it was a camp? Or was it?
No, it was a visit.
It was a visit.
I already had the offer at that point in time. I was already racking them up, and after I told my mom, I was just kind of like, okay. I was obviously thankful for it, but I didn't really just hey, I got this, hey, I got this. It would just sort of come, and I'd be like, okay, let's just keep on pushing. Let's keep on navigating through this whole phase in life right now. And we went on that visit. It was really eye-opening for him to really understand and see how they were treating me, how the resources they were talking about, also the alumni, of course, the education and the alumni network, he was just more bought in on. And after he saw that, he was like, look, we need to sit down, we need to take this seriously. You could go really far in life with this. So just keep on going at it and make sure you stay focused. And I just did all that, and now I'm here.
Awesome. Okay. So let's transition from that time that you was getting recruited to you committing to Texas. So what did that look like? You're talking about taking official visits to A&M. Did you take any other official visits?
I took one to Texas. Yeah.
To Texas as well. So you only had 2 official visits, A&M and Texas. Yeah. And okay, what sealed the deal for Texas? I know what I believe, but I want to hear it from you. What was it that made you commit to Texas?
Realistically, whenever I was going through recruiting, there were 3 things that I was always looking for in a school: the atmosphere, the environment. Because I know that collegiate just football in general is a hard sport, and then it's college football, it's a higher level. Everyone always told me this is going to be a job. So I knew that I wanted to be in a city and an environment to where if things got tough or hard, that where I could just really decompress and just get my mind reset without having to go far, do something extreme, just go out to like Mount Bonnell, someplace like Mount Bonnell, and just sit there, reflect, and say, okay, let's regather our thoughts. Education was another one. Obviously, University of Texas was a great public university, so the education there spoke for itself. And then obviously the football part of it. It was Tom Herman came in, there was a new coach, and there was a new sort of energy coming in. And I came with the mindset of I wanted to change this university and leave it better than when I came into it. And I'm doing that now. But those are the three things I was looking for. And so I remember my first time I came up to Texas, I didn't really have the offer. And there was another kid from the KD area. He was a running back. He was up there. They offered him. We were in different groups, obviously, because I wasn't getting recruited at the time. But I remember just coming up. I saw the locker room. I saw the different players like Caden Stearns, Deshaun Jameson, and a little player panel, and just talking to Coach Orlando and stuff like that. I don't know. It just felt like naturally inside, I just had a natural want to always come back, and I'd always be up here during my visits and stuff. I'd always come back to Texas, and then it was just kind of a no-brainer. I naturally felt it inside when I'd visit, and then all three of my things I was looking for were answered, so that's why I came to Texas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you clearly made the right choice. We've seen your career unfold, and I feel like you just get better and better each and every year. But we got to start at the beginning of your career. I was doing a little research, and I read that you started off at running back your first year. How did that unfold? What did that look like for you?
Okay, so I came in as a linebacker, and I remember in high school I did a little bit of everything. I had a couple touchdowns to my belt.
You played both sides of the ball in high school.
A little bit of both. And when I came here, we were running thin at running back, and I remember I was on special teams, and I was trying to fit in where I could get in. So I was pretty fast. And Coach Herman, I remember him and Orlando came to. They took me aside to the position room, and they were like, "Hey, look." They first opened it and said, "You're not in trouble or anything." They brought out a sheet with the top speeds, and you're like, "Wow, you're running really fast." And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, I'm not to be disrespectful or anything. I'm just kind of sitting there like, in my head, I'm like, I know this.
Right.
I already knew this. This is why.
This is what I do.
This is what I was recruited to come here for. And so they're just like, hey, we are very thin at running back. Would you want to do it? And at that time, I was a freshman, and I was like, I'm the third string linebacker right now. I'm gonna just get in where I can fit in, and I'm a team player. I'm not really a guy who's gonna sort of be selfish and worry about what else I got going. Whatever I can do to help a team, I'm gonna do. And that's how, because that's what I did in high school, and that's what got me to this point. So I felt naturally, why not just repeat the same things that got you to this point, but also elevate it. So yeah, I was a running back. I'm not gonna lie to you, when I got that playbook though, I now realized what I was in for. I'm looking at the playbook. I remember my first night, Roshan Johnson was telling me it would help me out. I'm so confused. I'm looking at formations, shifts, protections.
And real quick, at this point, are you full-time running back, or are you splitting reps between running back and linebacker?
Okay. Moved me to the position.
So full-time, switch.
Full-time switch. And
Gotcha.
I mean, it was a little daunting at first because, I don't really run from a challenge, so I didn't really care or take it as demerit in my eyes. It was more of a sort of, I took it like, okay, they're watching me and they're paying attention, so that's good. I'm in the eyes of the coaches and they're recognizing my potential to do certain things. So I was like, you know what? I took it on with open arms. So I took it, went with it. Obviously, it didn't last for long. They switched me back, but it's whatever. It was fun.
And when you say it didn't last for long, roughly how long did that experiment last for?
I'd say a couple weeks, because we were in the season. We were in the season with them, and a couple guys got healthy. So obviously, all right, it's okay. We don't need you at this no more. And I was like, all right, that's fine with me. But I'm still here, coach.
Yeah. Okay. So from your experience in the running back room, and it doesn't have to be directly running back related, but is there anything that you took with you from that experience that kind of helped you the rest of your career?
Yeah, because it helped me to understand that running backs and linebackers, it's almost mirror, like the positions mirror each other and how we're reading each other. How, for instance, when you're hitting inside zone, the running back is reading the 3-eye. So if he hits the gap a certain way, he has to be patient or not. And he's also paying attention to where the linebackers are, as opposed to as the linebackers, we're going to stay in our gap, maintain our leverage in our gap, and pay attention to where the running back's going and his footwork as well. So it just sort of helped me understand the game a little bit more, and also introduced me to just what real work in college football is. Because at first I thought it was going to be easy, but I had to learn and really hone in on the offense. But it was a fun challenge, though.
Yeah. Well, I think it speaks volumes that you were willing to get recruited as a linebacker, come in and almost from day one have to switch to a whole new position and be willing to do that and make those type of sacrifices for your team. I think that's big for you. And I see that as your career has gone, like as the type of player you are, you're willing to do the dirty work. You're willing to do the stuff that nobody else is doing. And it's shown in your career. And I think that's going to be big for you this year. So you were recruited. You said you were recruited by Tom Herman. Sark comes in when? After your sophomore year? After your second year?
I think it's like a third or fourth year.
Okay, I think it might have been your redshirted sophomore year then.
Yeah.
So he comes after your redshirted sophomore year. What is Sark's message to the team? Like, what's his pitch to get everybody to kind of buy in and jump on board?
I mean, his first initial pitch was that we're going to play hard, we're going to play fast, and obviously he's going to bring a new style of play for Texas, and he's going to change to a new style of Texas. But his initial pitch to really realistically win us over was just the overall progress we made under Coach Sark's tenure. I feel like at first it was very hard. It was a very hard adjustment because we weren't used to his style of practice. All gas, no brakes isn't just a saying. I know I've said it multiple times, but it's not just a saying. It's something he really lives by and hopes that we live by as well. And he wants a very fast and physical team. So his practices, the way we work out, is going to be very fast and physical, and it's going to be hard. Like the offseason was very hard, and it was a very hard adjustment. But at the same time, I'm very familiar with the coaching change and understand that, okay, this is not the guy that recruited me, nor is it the guy who has had a relationship with me, but this is a first impression. Let me make the best first impression. So I'd say what really won us over was just how we kept getting better. And what won me over was obviously what he did at Alabama and just the way he handled things off the field as well. He looked at our development holistically on the field and off the field, and that's what really spoke volumes to me, for him to have real conversations with me and just tell me what it was to help me get better on and off the field. Because how you are off the field is how you are on the field. It goes hand in hand with your character holistically, and you know that.
Yeah. Whenever Sark comes in, did the thought of transferring ever cross your mind for a second?
I would realistically, I'm honestly going to say nah, because like I said, I'm familiar with the coaching change. So with the new coaching change, I just saw it as a new opportunity to start fresh. So realistically, like I said, I wanted to make the best first impression and make the most amount of plays and just show them that, okay, I'm here to play and I'm not just a guy who's in and out. I'm fully committed to helping this football team and helping this university change the sort of bad image we had as with our style of play and just the losses we had earlier. So I just took that as an opportunity and ran with it.
Yeah. Okay, and you said it. You said you kind of wanted to stick around to help right the ship. So in your opinion, what contributes to this program's instant success? And obviously it didn't happen instantly. Y'all took y'all's bumps and bruises. Y'all have lost some big games, but coming into the 23 season, I don't think anybody expected the type of dominance y'all showed. So what contributed to that in your opinion?
I would say the culture that Coach Sark built and then just entrusted us to be, and the player-led team we had, because like you said, we did take some losses, but those games were very close. And instead of us just trying to rely on talent, we would always go into the offseason, the hard offseason, knowing that it was going to be a challenge. But when the times got tough, we thought back to those games of, okay, we almost had Okie State. We almost had Tech. Like, we just went back to those times where it got tough in those games and just realized that we win games now, and if we work hard now, we're going to earn the right to be able to win and do what we want to do, which was win the Big 12. So when Coach Sark came in, obviously it was a very big Coach Sark, very big. But it was for the better. When change comes in, a lot of people and a lot of things, it's sometimes hard for people to understand, but that's the beauty of change. It's something new. So with that new change came a new style of play, and that helped build our confidence, because all the hard stuff we did throughout the offseason, the way he developed us, just helped us to have the confidence to go out and play. And obviously, you've seen what Coach Sark did at Alabama. So with the players he had and the talent we have in Texas, it was just a sort of process that came together and made sense that we just took off with it.
Okay, so Last season, I felt like you had taken a tremendous step on the field. Like, I felt like your play last year was easily some of the best film that you've put out here at Texas. Do you think that was because of opportunity, meaning that you got more playing time because DeMario Overshawn left and such, or was there something else that contributed to you taking that next step?
I would say it was a little bit of both. It was holistically the development that Coach Sark helped me go through, the maturing, and also just the work ethic that just sort of went hand in hand in the offseason, and also the opportunity and the confidence that was built from the work I put in the offseason, and just sort of that opportunity. I never really had too much of that opportunity at Texas. So when I was given the opportunity, my mindset was, look, regardless of whether they take me out or not, I'm going to make sure that every game they know who I am and they see the level of skill that I have. So I was going to make sure that I popped every chance I had.
No doubt. So in your opinion, what is probably your biggest strength as a player?
I would say my biggest strength is just my drive and my want to, because, yeah, I'm strong, yeah, I'm fast, but I feel like when it comes to just really the mano y mano, when it comes man on man, I feel like I would want it more than the person across from me, because something in me just makes me I'm just naturally always thinking, I need to get the ball. I'm not thinking of too much other things. When my mind is clear, I'm just going, and I don't stop. I feel like that's my biggest aspect, my competitive drive to keep on wanting to keep going and going and going. And no matter what, I'm not going to get tired nor stop, because I'm going to make sure you know who I am and what I have, like what the level of skill I have. So I'm going to just always compete with like a desperate hunger for the ball. That's how I sort of play. That's how I describe my style of play. Fast, hungry, and just ready to wreak havoc.
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. That just gave me the chills. Whatever you just said right here, take that, box it up, and whenever you go to the draft next year, make sure you say that same thing in front of GMs. But from talking to other players on the team, they say you're a big film junkie as well. Kind of take us through what a film breakdown would look like for you. How many hours are you putting in weekly into film?
I'd say it'd be like me and my dad, he always called me every time. He's like my coach. As soon as I told you he saw I could do it, he was always there supporting me. He'd always say at least 2 hours a day. Like, even after this, I'm probably just going to go chill at the crib in the AC, thank God, and just watch some probably Colorado State film or just some NFL film on Roquan Smith, always to get better. So 2 hours a day usually. But for me, a film breakdown, it depends. When I'm game planning, I'll start off small. You can't take a game holistically because there's too much going on in it. You always got to pay attention to small little details, because the small little details are what change the game, you know what I'm saying? Or what help you recognize a play. So I'll just break it down by first down, second down, just usually a small cut up at that. Then I'll notice the formations, what plays are running out each formation. Then after I notice those plays, okay, this offensive coordinator has a tendency to run this play out of that formation. And football is all the same. So even from your days of playing ball, there are similar plays and similar formations. So
I was gonna say, hold on, I didn't. My last game was 2022. That was 2 years ago. You making it seem like I was playing when there was the wing T or something.
Nah, but I know you know this. Football is all very similar. I mean, yeah, they add little nuances here and there, but there's different formations that'll help you know, okay, they're doing this, or just different tells. Like, okay, the offensive line, they're all leaning forward. It's going to be a run as opposed to the left tackle and the right tackle. They're both almost standing up in their stance. So it's a pass. Third and long, you're going to see the running back check him. It's either going to be a draw or a screen. Or after intensive film study, I'm watching a third down cut up breakdown. You'll notice, okay, third down, this formation, this offensive coordinator likes this specific play to this specific person. So it's just little things like that help you play the game faster. And so you're not just sitting there thinking what's going to happen? Because the moment of hesitation is the difference between making a TFL and a tackle for 2 yards. And football's a game of inches, so you got to make sure you're on it. You'd rather be ahead than behind. That's what Coach Sark says. You'd always rather play the game. Also, he also says you like to play the game of life ahead, not behind. So make sure you're on top of stuff. But yeah, that's how film study helps me. And then whenever I'm just in the off season chilling and trying to hone my craft, I usually watch older guys who've done it. Like when I was younger, I'd always watch Reuben Foster. I'd always watch guys, Roquan Smith, even when he was at Georgia, I'd always watch him. Even when the game they played Oklahoma, I always pay attention to guys like that. And I'm a visual learner. So for me, it would just take watching their highlights or just watching how they play certain plays over and over. Then naturally, I would just find myself looking at my film and I'll just be doing it naturally. So it would just be, that's how I study.
Okay, David, so clearly you got a brilliant mind for football. So for the fans out there, we want to go behind the face mask and look at it from your perspective. Can you take us through like a game day rep? Like, let's say, give us an example of a play call, just a simple defensive play call.
Okay, I'll give us a simple cover 3 blitz, like nitro.
Nitro?
So, yeah, nitro.
Okay, so nitro comes in from the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What does the communication look like? After that, who on the field are you talking to and what keys are you looking at offensively?
Okay, but so first off, look to the sideline, get the call, and make sure I first start off with the guys in front of me because they're going to keep the big uglies, the O-linemen off of me. So I just give them the close call. We set the front. So I usually just set it, give them a close right or a close left.
And that's for the D-line. So you communicate the call to the D-line first.
I communicate with them. Then I make sure the DBs around me, I check them to my left and my right to make sure they all have the call and we're all on the same page. Then after that, I make sure to check the formation to see if we have to tag anybody. And by tagging, that means check the blitz to a different formation. And then of course, I'll check the receivers. I'll look right to left, see how many receivers, if there's 3x1 or it's 2x2 balanced set. Then after that, I will just get to my alignment. And my alignment will be dictated by obviously the 2x2 or 3x1 set. Get aligned, get comfortable. Then after I get comfortable, I'll just see, all right, my pass key or my run key, which is off number 3. I'll check number 3 if it's cover 3. So I have to check number 3 to make sure that if it's a speed guy, I gotta back up a little bit to make sure, because if it's pass, that's gonna be my guy that I have to cover. Or if it's a tight end, I'm just, all right, I'm cool and I'm chilling. I can keep up with him.
Yeah, you can handle that. You're good with that.
Yeah. Then I will check the running back because like Coach DJ always tells, Derek Johnson, he always tells us, the running back is going to tell you a lot. So I sort of soft key the line, hard key the running back, and I just sort of use my vision on that, keep them on there. Obviously, if it's a run, the running back's getting the ball, but since the blitz, the line is shifting. So I'm usually more patient when the line is shifting. And the reason for my patience is so I can sift out the open gaps and make sure that I'm able to make a play on the running back. Or if not, I don't have to do much. Just sit behind the D-line and let them work because they're shifting and they're moving. And let the blitz work in front of me. But obviously, if it's a pass, I'm just going to, the running back's not going to get the ball. He's going to check out. Then my eyes go from running back to my read key, which is going to be number 3. And after that, that's the play right there.
Okay, so you just gave us a lot.
Yeah.
So obviously it's easy to talk about this when we're sitting down, but roughly on the field, how much time do you have to go through that whole process? I'm assuming less than 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's literally just seconds, not even less than 10, like 5 seconds.
So everything you just described has to go down within 5 seconds. Not to mention, if we're on the road, there's crowd noise, right?
Yeah.
So that makes that communication piece even harder, right?
Yeah, it makes it 1,000 times harder. Like there's times where I have to come up to the D-line and I'm at their butts just yelling in their ears, just letting them know what it is. And I have to communicate with the mic backer and be like, all right, look, go handle that. But that's where the level of trust comes into play, because when we're on the same page with the older guys, they know what they're doing and stuff. And obviously they handle their own thing. So it doesn't really have to leave too much illness on me. Ant usually knows what he's doing. And the other guys, Jade knows what he's doing as well. And I just have to make sure I just get them the call and everyone just sort of handles their own thing and make sure that at the D-line's straight, they know it as well too. I just make sure they know so that we're on the same page. But 9 times out of 10, everybody knows what they're doing just based off the call. So they're already looking.
Is there ever a situation where you don't get the call from the sideline? And if you don't get the call, what is going on in your mind? Like, what do you do in that situation?
Well, the most honest answer is I'm just over here looking to the sideline, usually like, all right, any day now. Then after that, it's like, all right, bump that. They're not going to give us a call. We just check to our blanket check and make sure that everyone's on the same page and communicate it. So we try not to make it a Chinese fire drill. I don't know if you ever heard of that saying. Yeah. But we usually just make it chill and calm. Like, all right, this is the call. Let's everyone sit and make sure everyone's on the same page. Because usually with that situation, it's sort of, you got to make sure everyone's on the same page, because they're either going to try to play the call that they already heard, but it's the call that they see, but it's already too late. Because like you said, it's seconds. If we're already noticing that the offensive line has their hands in the dirt, quarterback's getting his arms up, like, nah, we're going to get a check. We're just going to get our cover 4 check and call it a day.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's interesting. And I just wanted you to break that down for the fans because I've been in that situation. And like I was a D lineman, so I'm waiting on the linebacker to get me the call. And I could see it from your perspective where you're looking at the coach to give you the call. So I could see just 10 other sets of eyes just beaming on you, waiting for the call, and you ain't got it. So you're like, okay, let's go. Blanket, whatever. What did you call it? A blanket check?
Yeah, we'll just go Shelly.
Yep.
Shelly, give the call. They already know the front. It's our usual call, bread and butter call, basic call day one. So everyone knows that like the back of their hand. So that's easy. And since everyone knows it, they're more comfortable and familiar with it, so they can adjust to it on the fly, whatever the formation is. And at that point, it's just everyone playing the situation, whether it's like third and long or it's first or second down.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that. I appreciate it. That's the game within the game. Okay, so you mentioned him earlier, but what can you tell us about Anthony Hill?
Man, Anthony, he's a very talented cat with a very mature mind. And you think I have a mind for football. He's a very smart football player. He's very talented, and he's very hardworking. That much I admit. He's also a film junkie as well. He just knows ball, and he's a go-getter. He's a natural competitor, too. He may not talk a lot, but he has that competitive edge to him that only comes out in rare occasions, but I like when it does because it's interesting to see him just go out there and compete and just be himself. But he's a really, really good ball player.
Okay, and in your opinion, what's his biggest strength on the field?
I would just say his natural football instinct. He has a natural knack of just finding the ball and just leading. He has that natural ability. He doesn't talk much, but when he does, it's something of essence. There's sometimes where he talks to me like, hey, let's do this. And I'm like, I didn't think about that. All right, bet, let's do it. Next thing you know, we're in the middle, like even at PRPs, he said, hey, let's just switch it. Bet, switched it. One of us made the play, and it's like, all right, bet, good job. But it's just that little, like I said, the trust. I have a lot of trust in him, and I know that regardless of whatever's going to happen, he's going to be around the ball, some way, somehow around the ball to make a play. Just a ball player.
Kind of staying in the linebacker room, last year, a lot of guys said Jalen Ford was one of the captains on the defensive side of the ball. With him leaving and you kind of transitioning into that captain, that leadership role, what are the expectations from you stepping into that?
I would say the expectations for me realistically is just to be who I am and just continue to command the defense and lead them strong but also confidently, because like I said earlier, I make sure I call all the shots, let them know the calls and stuff like that, but lead them to the point where it's like we just naturally fall into plays and we just show everybody who we are. I grew up watching, obviously, the Bama defense with Reggie Ragland, Reuben Foster, and the Georgia defense like that. So just being on a dominant defense has always been a dream of mine. So it's just to step into that leader role and just help us to elevate that level of style of play that we had from last year and just just add an extra level to it. Okay,
and you had an opportunity to leave just like your other teammates for the 2023 NFL Draft. What was one of the reasons for you to stick around and stay? Like, what did you want to accomplish this upcoming season?
Well, honestly, it was just, I noticed that what we did last season was very fun. And obviously we did a lot of great things under Coach Sark. It just gave me more confidence in him and in myself and the team as well. So I just knew that if we just go about it a little bit harder, add a little bit more extra like we did the previous offseason before the last season we had, I felt like we could elevate it. And Coach Sark and Coach Beck, they've made it harder on us, and they've always continued to help us to grow. So I just naturally felt like I was going to become better as a player and as a person on and off the field. And I just knew that we're going to be able to do even bigger things, which is go chasing Natty. So it was just a no-brainer for me to come back, honestly.
Okay, cool, David. So I ask all the guys this. After a game on Saturday, Sunday is the off day. What does a typical off day look like for you?
Typical off day for me is realistically, it's just coming in, doing our stretch and stride. I mean, I don't have no crazy sort of like activity I do on the off days. I'm very chill with it. I don't do too much. I just come in, do my normal stretch and stride, talk to the guys about the game, whether it was a win or a loss, talk to them about it, then ask, hey, you watched the film yet? Obviously, I've already watched it, but review the film over again and just sort of see where I went wrong and just go from there about it and make sure my body's okay. As the season, I have to make sure I'm available and healthy, so I have to really hone in on my body, make sure I'm okay and stuff like that. Then I'll probably just get some food, probably a little cheat day though. If it's a good one, I'll get something a little nice like ice cream or some Jack in the Box, something nasty, just to reward myself.
Okay. And with that cheat meal, you come home, you eat it. Are there any favorite TV shows that you watch on an off day, or like what are you watching when you get home and you sit on the couch?
I mean, right now the shows I'm watching are Power, Ghost, the new season dropped, and The Boys. It's a really, really interesting show. I like it. It's just
like
something
The
I turn my brain off and just watch. Like, I'm probably just gonna go back after I watch film and watch the 3 new episodes they dropped because I was just watching on the road, but I want to make sure I really watch the episodes. But it's really fun. Those are the shows I'm watching, or usually the type of shows I watch.
Okay. And in your opinion, what's your favorite show of all time, if you had to pick one?
Favorite show of all time? I have to think about that one.
And it don't even have to be like, it ain't that deep. What's your favorite show to like? What's a fun show for you to watch?
Okay. Favorite show of all time to watch would have to be Snowfall. That one was really good. Snowfall was really good to see. Franklin Saint rise and fall was an interesting one. It was sad at the end, but hey, it happened.
I was gonna say, what did you think about the ending?
It was a little sad, but how the mighty fall. But it is what it is. And I'd say usually when I'm chilling or eating, I'd watch something like Everybody Hates Chris or the Bernie Mac show. Rest in peace to Bernie Mac. But those are some funny ones I usually try to watch just to turn my brain off and catch a little chuckle. Just watch some.
Yeah. Well, David, this has been fun. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I think myself and the Longhorn fan base is expecting another big season out of you, and I'm excited to watch you this year, brother.
Man, thanks for having me, OG.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on, man. And that's another episode of Behind the Face Mask.
Sure.